Here are 50 geography facts you get wrong, starting with number 1. There are actually 8 continents, not 7. The 8th one is Zealandia. Roughly half the size of Australia, it sits so far under the water that the only part you can see is the mountain range that makes up New Zealand. The only reason it isn't considered an official continent in education is because textbooks don't update very easily. Most of it is underwater, so it's hard to visualize and it's simply not convenient. Number 2. Time zones are a political makeup and not a geographic one. For example, China has one time zone for 5,000 kilometers. Number 3, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Africa is a continent, not a country. Number 4, Asia is so big that it is in both the Eastern Hemisphere and the Western Hemisphere at the same time. 5, the Dead Sea is the lowest place on land, right next to your college GPA. 6, the Southern Ocean is real. Some maps lie. It surrounds Antarctica. 7, the Mariana Trench is over 7,000 feet, or 2.1 kilometers deeper than Mount Everest is high. 8, Lake Baikal holds 20% of the world's fresh water and it's just one big hole in Siberia. 9, Lake Superior is bigger than the state of South Carolina. 10, you can ski in Africa and surf in Alaska. Africa is not just one big desert. 11, Greenland is actually a part of North America and not Europe. 12, Greenland is a territory of Denmark, and since it's located in North America, this makes Canada and Denmark neighbors. 13, since we are still on the topic, Iceland is a lot greener than Greenland. Realistically, they should swap names. 14, Mexico is not in Central America, it's in North America. 15, there is a place in China that is colder than Siberia. It's called Mohe, and you shouldn't go there. 16, there is a shallow river that runs underneath the Amazon River. That's right, a river on top of a river. 17, with enough time, visas, and willpower, you can walk from South Korea to South Africa. 18, the Amazon River is longer than the Nile in Egypt. You can fight me over this, or you could Google it. 19, you can stand in 4 US states at the same time, but I am not going to tell you where. Okay, fine. It's called the Four Corners Monument. 20, the UK is not England. The UK is the collection of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. 21, most people think that Rio de Janeiro is the capital of Brazil just because it's the most famous city, but that's not true. It's Brasilia, and it's another huge city in Brazil. Brazil has a lot of cities. 22, just like how Sydney isn't the capital of Australia, neither is Melbourne. It's actually a much smaller city between them called Canberra. 23, just like the UK isn't England, Holland also isn't the Netherlands. Holland is the name for North Holland and South Holland, which are 2 regions of the Netherlands. 24, Morocco is closer to Europe than you think. In fact, it's only a 20-minute ferry ride across to Spain. 25, God, we are only halfway through the list. Aside from Lake Baikal, most of the world's fresh water is frozen in glaciers. 26, Australia is not technically down under, because there is no up and down. It's just made up by snobby northerners. 27, Australia is the smallest continent. Wait, unless we count Zealandia, which means it's false. So I guess Australia isn't the smallest continent? 28, India is not just tropical. Large parts of it are desert, alpine zones covered with lots of snow and big mountaintops. 29, I'm not sure why, but many people think that Singapore is a city. It is not. It is a tiny nation in Southeast Asia, and it's a very successful nation. 30, most people think equatorial countries are poor. This is not true. For example, Singapore is a very rich nation, and so is places like Brunei. This is most a myth due to economic history. 31, places like Paris in France, London in England, and Berlin in Germany are all further north than New York City. It's just a common misconception. 32, most people think that it's summer everywhere in June, but I hate to break it to you, in places like Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and South America, this is their winter. They have summer between December and February. 33, there are over 201 countries in the world, but the UN only officially recognizes 195 of them, 2 of those being non-member observer states, including the Holy See and the State of Palestine. 34, the Mercator map massively distorts the size of countries. Africa is actually 14 times the size it looks and can fit the US, China, India, and most of Europe. 35. The US is technically both west and east of Europe. This is because Alaska enters the eastern hemisphere, while most of the US is in the western hemisphere. 36. The Sahara Desert is not the biggest desert in the world. This is because a desert is classified as a very dry place with little to no rainfall. Therefore, the Antarctic Desert is the largest desert in the world. 37. The Great Wall of China is not visible from space with the naked eye, just a common myth I thought I would point out. 38. The largest island in the world is not Australia because it's a continent. Greenland is in fact the largest island. 39. There are 17 landlocked countries in Europe, meaning they have no access to oceans or seas. 40. Because Alaska dips into the eastern hemisphere, it becomes the westernmost, easternmost, and northernmost state in the USA. 41. Brazil has the largest population of Japanese people outside of Japan, with over 1.5 million Japanese Brazilians living there. 42. The southernmost permanently inhabited place is Puerto Williams in Chile, not Antarctica. 43. Iceland has more than 30 active volcano systems, with an eruption occurring roughly every 5 years. 44. You are actually more likely to get sunburned in Antarctica than in Australia. The ozone hole over Antarctica, combined with the sun reflecting off the snow, makes for intense UV exposure. 45. The Arctic has no land beneath the ice, unlike Antarctica, which does. 46. The Vatican City has no official prison. It relies on Italy for that. 47. Canada has the longest coastline in the world. It's over 200,000 kilometers or 160,000 miles long and is mostly due to the thousands of islands that it has. 48. Libya is almost entirely a desert, with over 95% of it being categorized as one. 49. There is no land border between Egypt and Asia, because Egypt's Sinai Peninsula is technically in Asia, so Egypt doesn't border Asia, it is a part of it. And finally, number 50. At Point Nemo in the Pacific Ocean, you are closer to the International Space Station than anyone else on Earth. This is because it's 2,600 kilometers or 1,600 miles from the nearest land. Do you know any other common beliefs that are actually false? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy learning about our world, consider hitting the subscribe button for more content.